Today is 11th of April 2023. Today we are going to talk about how to progress in meditation, because I believe all the yogis who are practicing here want to progress in meditation within these 10 or 12 days. We have very short time. The retreat is for 12 days. So I must say this is quite short time to practice. So in order to progress in this short time, what are the things or what are the features we have to be endowed with? So today we are going to talk about how to progress in meditation. In the text, the 9 factors or 9 conditions are mentioned in order to progress in meditation. But here I will talk only 2 factors or the 2 conditions, which are the main conditions, and by being endowed with these 2 conditions, remaining 7 conditions automatically will be fulfilled. So that's why I will talk only 2 main conditions or the factors in order to progress in meditation. So the first one is practicing respectfully. Practicing in a reverential manner is the first condition or the first factors needed in order to progress in meditation. How to practice respectfully, how to practice in reverential manner. So the commentaries elaborated about practicing respectfully. It elaborated as Chakhu massa yatha andho. This is the first way to practice respectfully. Chakhu massa yatha andho. Chakhu ma means the one who has eyes, means who can see. So the meaning of this sentence is, though one has eyes to see, or though one can see, has to behave like a blind person. Andho means blind. So behaving like a blind person is the first feature or the first condition in order to practice respectfully. So what is the meaning of behaving like a blind person? Although one can see, or one has eyes to see. So we have to understand the behavior of the blind person, how the blind person behaves. Blind person who is blind, the person who is blind, he is not interested with the visible objects. He does not care about the visible objects. He has no interest in the visible objects or with the visions or the sights around or the nearby. So that kind of behavior is needed while practicing meditation. That is what Buddha's teaching is saying. Buddha's teaching is not insisting us to be a blind. In fact, it is insisting us to behave like a blind person. Though we can see, or though we have eyes to see, we have to behave like a blind. Means we should not take interest. We should not take care about the visible objects. Literally, not taking interest in visible objects means not to look here and there. This is what the Buddha's teaching insisting us, or insisting the yogis, meditators, not to look here and there, but restrain your eyes. On the very first day, while I taught you to do the walking meditation, I mentioned how to restrain the eyes, not looking too far, not looking too close, not looking side by side, but only looking in front looking in front of you. So that is what not taking interest or not taking care of the visible objects means restraining your eyes. Yogis must restrain, control the eyes by not looking here and there. Most of the yogis are lacking this feature. This is also why I choose this topic to talk today. While yogis are doing walking meditation, while they are walking to dining hall, while they are walking back to room, coming to meditation hall, most of the yogis are still not controlling their eyes. They are still looking here and there. So that means we are not practicing in a reverential manner. We are not practicing respectfully. If we are not practicing respectfully, then it is not possible to improve, to progress in meditation. So if yogis want to progress, improve in meditation, so you have to control your eyes, you have to restrain your eyes. And from here, I would like to request all the yogis, from now on, please control your eyes. While doing walking meditation, while walking to dining hall, while going back to room, coming to meditation hall, let's say all along the day, keep your eyes restrained. Restraining eyes is to prevent the unwholesome mind or mentalities, or we can say in order to prevent the defilements to not to arise. Because when we see the pleasant object, desire tends to arise. The greed, the attachment tends to arise. When unpleasant object we see, anger, aversion, ill will tends to arise. If the object is still neutral, illusion, delusion tends to arise. We may believe, we may have the wrong view on the visible object as a man, woman, or the soul. In this way we have a wrong view, or illusion or delusion is there. So that's why whenever we look here and there, kilesas tend to arise. So in order to not to arise kilesas, we have to restrain the eyes, and it is really helpful to be mindful. If eyes are not controlled, difficult to develop mindfulness. difficult to be mindful. If we restrain eyes, it is easy to be mindful. But of course, there are the occasions when we have to look. The necessary condition is there to look. So if we have to look, then at that time also we have another option, that is looking mindfully. While we are looking something, we have to look mindfully with mental note, like looking, seeing. If we have to look something, then still we have to look mindfully with the mental note. So this is the first feature, practicing in reverential manner. Means if yogis are controlling their eyes, then they are practicing respectfully. And those who are practicing respectfully, they are improving in meditation. The second feature to practice respectfully is, in Pali, sotava badiro yatha, means behaving like a deaf, though one has ears, or though one can hear the sounds. So again, what is the nature or behavior of a deaf person is he does not take care, or he is less interested in the audible sounds, in voice, in sound, audible things. He does not care, he does not take interest. Similarly, meditators who are practicing meditation should be less interested or should not take care about the sound or about the audible objects. Again, it does mean that intentionally we should not listen the external voices or external sounds. Of course, we cannot avoid the sounds or the voices coming from outside. We cannot close our ears in order to not to listen the sounds. But here means intentionally we should not pick up our eyes to listen the sound, like what they are talking, where the music is coming from, where the sound is coming from where the sound is coming, what they are talking. So we should not pick up our ears in order to listen the unnecessary things, non-related things. So this is what behaving like a deaf person. While hearing, we have to note hearing. If something that you have to listen, then you can note again as listening, hearing. That prevents the unwholesome minds to arise or defilements to arise, because mindfully you are listening, mindfully you are hearing the sound. So intentionally, if you keep looking here and there, intentionally if you keep listening the external sounds or the voice, means at that time you are missing to note the presently arising object. At that time you are not mindful. And if you are not mindful, defilements, kilesas tend to arise. They are free to arise in our mind. Here we are practicing meditation. In order to purify our mind, we should not admit or we should not permit the kilesas to arise in our mind state. So this is the second feature in order to practice respectfully. The third feature is In Pali, Panya Vasa Yatha Mugo means though one has so many knowledge about the meditation practice, or though one has many knowledge about the Dhamma, has to behave like a ignorant or a stupid. Behaving like a ignorant, behaving like a stupid means one may has read many books about the Dhamma, about the Buddha's teachings, or one may has practiced many times or for many years. Still one has to behave like a person who knows nothing about the Dhamma, about the meditation. Means one has to behave like a beginner who has just started to practice, who knows nothing. Why behaving like an ignorant person is if one thinks that one has a lot of knowledge about the Dhamma, about the practice, then the first defilement to arise is proud or conceit. Like I know about this, I know about the practice, I don't need the guidance or the instruction from the teacher, I can practice by myself. I have so many knowledge, it has been long, it has been many years, I have been practicing meditation. So proud will be there, and a yogi who keeps practicing with proud or conceit cannot improve in meditation. Again, while one has proud and conceit, will not listen to the teacher. What teacher is saying, what teacher is asking to do, he or she will not listen. He will not listen the instruction or the guidance of the teacher. So then again that yogi cannot improve, progress in meditation while not listening the instruction or the guidance of the teacher. At times he or she overtakes the teacher. Before teacher asks him or her to note some extra objects, he or she will do by herself or himself. Means overtaking the teacher. So again, if a meditator keeps overtaking the teacher, then again he or she cannot progress. And again, when one thinks that one has so many knowledge about the Dhamma, keeps comparing while practicing meditation. Oh, book mentioned like this. Now I am practicing, now experiencing like this. Whether it is the same thing mentioned in the book. So in this way, if one thinks one has so many knowledge, one has so many experiences, then one keeps comparing with the previous knowledge, keeps comparing with the what he or she has read in the book, what he or she has in her mind. So keeps comparing. Not only comparing, keep analyzing and sometimes criticizing also. Criticizing to other yogis, oh, this is not how book mentioned to practice, this yogi is not doing correctly, not practicing correctly, properly. So he or she keeps criticizing even to other yogis instead of practicing or being mindful. Vipassana meditation practice is observing oneself. So that's why with your eyes, do not look here and there. Do not give priority for the external visible objects. Do not give priority for the external audible objects. And try not to criticizing by looking the other yogis. You have to observe or look inside yourself. This is the Vipassana meditation practice. In this topic, Peñavasa Yatha Mugo, it is also included behaving like a mute, although one can speak. Means refraining from talking the unnecessary things is also included in practicing reverential manner. So we have to avoid talking with each other, behaving like a mute. Behaving like a mute person is also the practicing respectfully. Means keeping the noble silence. We have to keep the noble silence. We should not talk with the fellow yogis. We should not keep conversing with the fellow yogis, talking which are not necessary during the practice. Actually, for the yogis, to talk is with the teacher while having interview. That is the time to talk. And of course, there might be some incident or condition which is emergency to talk, which is quite important to talk. And that must be to the point. Beside that, yogis must be silent throughout the day. So this is also practicing respectfully. While talking, it is not easy to be mindful, especially for the beginners. And talking with fellow yogi is quite disturbing. It disturbs a lot during the practice. So that's why this is also the request for the yogis who are still talking to each other with the fellow yogis. So if you are talking, then you are not practicing respectfully. So keep avoiding to talk each other with fellow yogis. We have recognized yogis keep talking while going back to room, while coming back from the room to meditation hall, and some while doing walking meditation as well. So if you want to progress in meditation, if you want to make this 12 days retreat fruitful, then please keep avoiding the talking. Yogis might have heard about the noble silence. So it is not just about the silence. Yogis must be noble silent. Because at home also sometimes we keep silence. For example, when we fight, when we have argument with family members or the friends, or fighting is there, we don't talk. We remain silent. That is not the noble silence. That is not the noble silence. That is just the silence. Why noble is added with the silence is, to be noble, we have to be mindful. or we have to keep observing the presently arising object. If we are observing the presently arising object, then that silence is the noble silence. Here, noble means pure or superior. When you are mindful, then at that time your mind is clean and pure. Or when you are observing the presently arising object and develop the mindfulness, at that time kilesas are not present, defilements are not present in your mind. That is why it is called noble or the pure silence. While we are fighting, and when we keep silent, there is anger, greed, unwholesome mentalities are there. So that is not the noble one. Again, the yogis keep silent, not talking, but still not mindful. Still kilesas have many chances to arise in your mind. So it should not be just the silence, but it should be noble silence by observing the presently arising object. So keeping the noble silence is another feature to practice in reverential manner. The fourth feature is balawa dubbalo riva, means though one is strong enough, has to behave like a weak person or a sick person. That means a weak person or the sick person, whatever he or she does slowly. He or she does not move or perform the actions quickly, fastly, but does everything slowly. Similarly, yogis are strong enough. You have quite good strength to do the activities quickly, fastly. But yogis have to behave like a weak person, like a sick person. Means all the performances, all the activities you do should be done slowly. So whatever you do, whether you stand up, whether you sit down, whether you drink water, whether you have breakfast or lunch, whatever you do, or stretching, bending of the hand, opening, closing the door, whatever you do should be done slowly, as if a weak person. Means when you finish your sitting meditation, when you are about to stand up, at a time you should not just leap up. You should not do it quickly, you have to do slowly. When you are about to sit down for your sitting meditation, at that time also you have to sit down slowly. When you are about to walk, at that time also you have to walk slowly. And you are about to open and close the door, at that time also you have to do slowly. So whatever you do, especially in this meditation hall, you have to do slowly in order to progress in your meditation. Yesterday also, when I gave the instruction, I mentioned in order to be mindful in daily activities, we have to perform slowly, gradually. And also I mentioned in the sitting meditation, when we are about to change the posture, about to move or shift the legs, at a time also should move slowly. But some yogis, they are moving quite fastly, changing the posture quite quickly. swiftly, that is not behaving like a weak person. If we want to improve in meditation, if we want to develop mindfulness, concentration and insight knowledge, then we have to do slowly. Just what I mentioned are the big actions, the obvious actions. In fact, in the minor activities also we should try to do slowly. I believe that yogis will become able to do slowly in those minor activities, like opening, closing the eyes. Even these minor activities must be performed slowly. We have to open eyes slowly, we have to close our eyes slowly, we have to move our head, fingers, hand. Whatever the performances we do bodily, they must be done slowly. And as I just mentioned, if you try to do slowly the gross activities, the most obvious activities first, then slowly yogis will become able to do these minor activities also slowly. In fact, in text, it is mentioned that we have to move like a person who is carrying a pot with brimful oil and who has no chance to spill even a drop of oil. So just imagine a person who is carrying on the bowl with the brimful oil and have no chance to spill even a drop of water. How carefully and how slowly he or she has to move. So it is mentioned in the text. Similarly, yogis has to move in that speed, in that pace. So we can say snail pace. Yogis must move in snail pace. When we say that we have to move in a snail pace, so some yogis may wonder, should we move always slowly? Should we have to do always in that same pace? Of course not. Because always time does not permit to do in a slow pace. We have to do in according to the condition. Like when we go back to our room, when we have to do things in our room, at that time may not permit to do slowly because we have to be on time in the meditation hall. So at that time we have to do in normal speed, but still mindfully. Try to be mindful what you are doing. Similarly, while breakfast and lunch, when you are in buffet taking the food, at that time fellow yogis are waiting behind you. At that time also we cannot do slowly, we have to do in normal speed. Similarly, while washing the dishes and sink, if fellow yogis are waiting for sink behind you, we should not do slowly. At that time, we should do in normal speed. In normal speed, but still mindfully. I am telling you, in normal speed means we should not do anything so fastly, so quickly. At least we can do, maximum we can do in normal speed. But when we are in the meditation hall, that is the complete, the personal time, individual time to practice. We don't make any other fellow yogis to wait. It is the personal time to practice. So at that time, as possible as we can, we have to do slowly, especially in the meditation hall. So in this way, behaving like a weak person and doing everything slowly, gradually, is also practicing respectfully. So in order to improve in meditation, in order to progress, mainly we mention the 4 things. Behaving like a blind person means restraining the eyes, not looking here and there. Second, behaving like a deaf, not taking interest, not taking care in the external sounds and the voice. This is the second one. The third is, though one has knowledge about the Dhamma and the practice, behaving like an ignorant. Under the same topic, keeping noble silence. And the fourth one is behaving like a weak person or performing all the activities slowly, gradually. These 4 are the features of practicing respectfully. Within these 12 days, I believe yogis can improve a lot. So in order to improve, I request all the yogis to follow these 4 things in order to practice respectfully. So practicing respectfully is the first factor in order to improve or in order to progress in meditation. Tomorrow we will talk about the second main factor in order to improve practice, in order to improve progress in meditation. Before I conclude my today's talk, there are a few things remain to remind the yogis, so I will remind that. So the first is, please try not to get late for the meditation hall. Please be on time. Early in the morning, after breakfast, after lunch, and after having shower. So in this 4 section, please do not get late to the meditation hall. Some yogis are getting late, so try not to be late for meditation hall. Second is, don't go back to your room except the time permitted. After the breakfast, you are permitted to go back after lunch and for shower, 4:30. These are the 3 times. And for after finishing meditation at night. So these are the only times permitted to go back to your room, except that please try not to go back to your room except if you have the health issue. If you have health issue, and if you have health issue, please take permission who is in charge in the meditation hall. Next, follow the schedule strictly. Do sitting meditation while sitting time, do walking meditation while walking time. Especially, try not to skip the walking meditation. Try not to skip sitting meditation means not for those yogis whose sitting is going well, concentration is being developed and sitting for extra minutes. Only for those yogis who are not doing walking meditation, just sitting carelessly on their seat. And next is, please do not open the eyes during the sitting meditation. Some yogis, they often open their eyes. Please keep eyes closed full an hour. Yesterday I give permission. If you have pain, then you can change the posture. You can change your leg, the position of the leg. It does not mean that you can stretch your legs towards the Buddha's statue. It is not good stretching towards the Buddha's statue. It is quite disrespecting for the triple gems. So try not to stretch your legs to the Buddha's statue. And no exercise in this meditation hall. So exercise is not the right way in order to get relief from the pain. It might be temporarily, but it is not the permanent solution. In order to get rid of pain, you have to be patient. If you try to be patient, if you try to endure, as I mentioned today, if you try hard, only 2 or 3 days you might feel difficult. After that, even some yogis, they do not take 2-3 days, 1 day enough. Then everything become comfortable. So please be patient and try harder. If mindfulness concentration develop, then it become very easy practice. So these are the things we are not mentioning. We want to restrict you or we want to control you, because we want you to make progress in the meditation. We wish you will have the good taste of the meditation and the Dhamma. We want you to taste the genuine taste of the Dhamma, the essence of the Dhamma. That's why we are not commanding, we are requesting. So we request to do what we have just mentioned, and please follow. And by following all these, may you all be able to progress in meditation, and may you be able to have a good, the taste which exhales all the worldly tastes, and may you all be able to free from suffering as well.
Sadhu, 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 sadhu.